Hey guys, Rich here, and today we're going to take a look at Bread. I'm going to show you how to set it up and what it is, and a few things that you can do with it. So Bread is a BMLT-based tool that lets you create PDF meeting lists. It makes things super easy because all you need to do is take this link at the top and send it to your printer, and then it's automatically updated up to the second that you update your meetings in the BMLT. So you don't have to go and download the attachment and have a static file because it's always updated. Now, first thing you need to do is get the plugin. And this is in the WordPress directory, so it's easy enough to find, install, and then of course you're just going to activate it. Now you'll see it in your list of plugins here. Unlike a lot of other BMLT plugins, you're not going to find it under settings over here. It's actually here under meeting lists. Now there's a lot of options here. So you're going to want to read this section first as it says. Now, although there's a lot of stuff there, it may seem a little overwhelming, but it's actually pretty intuitively laid out, and there's a lot of stuff you can do, but it's all pretty easy to do. So you're going to expand this section. It tells you exactly what you need to do. The first thing you need to do is set up a BMLT server. Okay, that's easy enough. We can go to this tab right here and then save changes, so then this can populate with service bodies. All right, we're going to pick Suffolk area, which is right here, and then of course you can add up to 5 service bodies right here, and they're all going to show up in the meeting list. You can do a custom query. You can see right now, if I click Save Changes, we have a meeting list. That link is right there, and then that's just going to show up, and that pulls it up. This is all we have right now. There's a lot of meetings closed right now. So now you might want to change the format. You're going to want to change the logo down here if you have a logo for your area. There's a lot of customizable stuff here, and we can see all this stuff coming up here. This is set as a trifold. As you can see, trifold. You can set it up as a flyer, as a quad fold, a half fold, full page. Landscape and portrait depends on the type you have. So if we want a portrait quad fold, we can do that, and then it's easy enough. So you can see that just put it all onto one page for me. And you're going to want to keep that in mind because it depends on how many meetings you have in your service body or service bodies that you want to show on your meeting list. And because you're probably going to want to fit it onto one page-ish, front and back, something like that. It all depends on how you do your meeting list. And like I said, there is a lot of options here. Okay, page margins you can adjust, page header. Most of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Text color is black, background color is white. You're probably going to want to leave those as the default, assuming that your meeting lists get printed in black and white, as I assume that most do. You could change the font. There's 4 different fonts that you could choose from. We're going to leave those as is for now, but if that's stuff that you want to change, you can change it. Like I said, most of this stuff is pretty straightforward. We have the NA logo right here. We can edit it. But what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to put in my own logo. And we could just put in the Suffolk area logo. We're going to get rid of that NA logo. And then we can just center this. And boom, we have the Suffolk area logo. Save it. So you can see we have short codes in here for service body 1. And we can see that that actually comes out to Suffolk area service. If we refresh, we will see that it does have the new logo. It has the month here, and that's updated automatically. See how it says it's a short code for the date? So that's just going to happen. On April 1st, it's going to show April 2020. The helpline number, of course, you're going to want to swap that out with your actual helpline phone number. And then down here, you have suggestions. You could replace that with any text that you like. We're going to want to replace this with the website. And down at the bottom, we have a meeting count shortcode that's actually showing us how many meetings we have in the area at this moment. Like I said, a lot of them are unpublished right now. Now, what if there's something else I want to add here? We could say meeting list shortcodes. There are a lot of shortcodes that you can add. We can add service body 2, 3, 4, and 5. I only picked one service body, so I don't have more. You could say month in uppercase, month in lowercase, month in French. All right, there's a lot of stuff, but it's all available right from that drop-down menu that's right here. So you don't have to know the short codes. You can just go to that drop-down menu and find the thing that you want to put on that page. All right, let's go to meetings. Okay, let's start at the top because there's a lot of stuff here. And like I said, this is all pretty intuitive. If you play around with this stuff a little bit, it's going to be pretty easy to set up. So group meetings by weekday, city, group, county, borough, weekday plus city. So this is just a sorting order. So maybe we want to group by city, and so we can do that. And like I said, it's just going to group by city instead of the day. And there it is. Now it's grouped by town, but honestly, I wouldn't want to keep it that way. But what we could do is something like weekday plus city. So what it's going to do first is it's going to sort by weekday, and then it's going to sort by the city in that list by weekday. There you have that. Now you can see all the cities are in alphabetical order under each day. All right, so those are your different sorting options. You could change the weekday language. You could change the first weekday of the week. And those are your sorting options. Now let's move on to the meeting template instructions. Okay, so this is what you're going to see for each meeting entry, right? So we have time, the group name, the location. So here we have it, time, group, location, info. So let's say comments, right? So under this Amityville meeting here, we have 4th step workshop. Maybe we need to save a little bit of space because we have so many meetings that we can't fit it on the amount of pages that we want. So maybe we want to remove comments. That's easy. Just remove comments and save changes, and then we're going to refresh. And sure enough, those comments are just going to be gone, right? Formats in bold. If you didn't want it to be bold, you would just unbold this. That's going to work. Now, what if we want to add something else? We can do that because it's all in a drop down right here. So if I wanted to add comments back, I could just add comments back. You don't need to know the codes to get this to work. That's why Bread is actually very easy to operate, and you don't need to be a web developer or have detailed knowledge of how the BMLT works to get this going. So you can just pick your fields from this, and you can design your own meeting format. Start time format. This is pretty straightforward as well. You could do 8 o'clock, 8 to 9. That would show the start and end time, or just 8 to 9. 24-hour format, so it would be 20 o'clock, 2000, whatever you want to call it. You could also choose to only have one meeting format, which is pretty interesting because, hey, you might want to only have a virtual meeting on there because right now, like I said, there are a lot of meetings that are closed, and you might want to have a list of virtual meetings. So now you can make that PDF list of just virtual meetings. Now that brings us to the next page, which is custom content. So meeting format, legend, helplines, service meetings. Again, you can see this uses short codes for service meetings. And of course, we have that drop-down list of short codes that you can use. Now that is going right on this second column right here, meeting format, legend, and all that stuff. The meeting formats are automatically populated there based on what you have in your meeting list. Helplines that you're going to have to fill out yourself. Service meetings, of course, you can populate that. Okay, configuration. This is the last thing I'm going to show. And this is actually pretty important because you might actually be redesigning your meeting list, but you don't want to disrupt the meeting list that you have. So you can easily just export it. And then we can go say this is the meeting list that I was setting up, and now we can just import it down into the other website. Now on this website, the first one I showed you, if I refresh the page here, it's going to show you the exact same meeting list that I was just working on, and it comes right over. So now you can set up your meeting list in a test location, and then you can just bring it over to the production site that you've got going on. So that's Bread, and like I said, it's all pretty straightforward. So you just want to explore. It's all right there. Explore the drop downs, explore the stuff you want to do, because there are a lot of options, but it's all very easy to figure out. And most importantly, read this section first. Read through these pages because it all just does what it says it's going to do. You don't have to know short codes and stuff like that because there are drop-down menus for all of that. But just read that section first, explore through the different pages, and then figure out what you want and what's going to fit for your service body.